You've probably noticed that there's a lot of different ways in which to take Pilates classes and also to take teacher training programs. And maybe you've even seen online options. You may be wondering, is an online teacher training program enough? It depends. Some are incredible, others not so much. And I've seen people be really let down by their teacher training program experience, not just because it was online. Sometimes it was the in-person experience that wasn't beneficial. It really comes down to the structure and support of the program itself. When I trained in 2003, online wasn't even an option, so it was definitely in person. But after years of teaching and training other teachers, I've realized it's not the format, it really is how the program is designed. Now, for sure, if you're focusing on a foundational level teacher training program, you're going to want to make sure that the program itself covers a lot of different elements, from exercise tutorials and how to teach a class, anatomy, and there's other considerations. But this is only one element. What you really want to consider is, what is the support that you're getting? Receiving feedback from your teacher trainer, being able to connect with them and other peers, having space to ask questions and grow. Some online programs miss this completely, where it's watch the video lessons, do it yourself. You can't even ask any questions. And because of this, other hybrid programs get lumped into this type of learning. And it's really important to focus on the different types of teacher training programs available online all the way to in person, and then more of a mix, the hybrid option. So when does it make sense to focus on online? It's fabulous once you're already a Pilates teacher and you want to pursue continuing education. This is something I wish would have been available when I was a brand new teacher. There were so many workshops that I wanted to attend. They were out of state. I was a newlywed. We had a new home. We were starting up a family. And if the workshop was $500, well, I could swing that. But then you include the cost of travel, hotel, and food, and all of a sudden it's over $1,000. And then, of course, time away from my family. It just didn't make sense for me to pursue a lot of training programs that I was interested in. And once I started taking more professional development courses online as they became available, it was fabulous. I was able to accelerate my professional knowledge without having the expense of traveling out of town. And also, there's something very unique about the online platform, and there are some benefits to learning. And this just isn't my opinion, this is also research backed. I took a seminar with a professor who was sharing a research study, and they enrolled students into a college class. It was the same college class with the same professor, but there were two groups of students. One took that class in person, the other took the class online. And where that class met is both sets of students were able to ask the professor questions via email, office hours, in person, or virtually. And the research found that the hybrid program, so online learning, and yet they were able to get support from the teacher, they actually had increased learning outcomes and got better grades. I really leaned in when I heard that. As I was evaluating when to offer professional development courses and the Pilates mat teacher training program, I really had to look at the different types of format. All online, online with virtual support and hybrid, maybe online with live in person, or all in person. And what I realize is it depends upon the type of training that you're pursuing. So for the trauma-informed Pilates approach, I knew that I wanted to have that on demand so Pilates teachers can take that course whenever it made sense for them. And this has helped me bring that course to more people rather than just keeping it local to the area that I live. It's so incredible that not only people in the United States, but Pilates teachers worldwide have enrolled in this program. And what we've also done is integrated a way in which people can ask questions and get support from us, even though it's on demand. And that's not included in all learning programs, but we feel it's really helpful. However, I knew for the Pilates mat teacher training program, because it's a foundational level program, it couldn't just be on demand. It needed to be more of a cohort style, which is very traditional with Pilates teacher training programs. It has a specific start date, it has a specific end date. And this is really helpful because depending upon your teacher training program, the curriculum, what's included, what has been evaluated is what is the pacing that's going to be ideal to where you can learn, you integrate, you practice, and then you layer on. And this is how most teacher training programs are coordinated. If you try to cram it too much in at one time, it's just going to be overload and you're not going to remember a lot of what you learned. And if it's spread out, well, you may forget what you learned at the very beginning, or if it has no end date, what happens for a lot of people is they just don't actually end up completing the experience and becoming a Pilates teacher. So we knew we really wanted to have cohort style. We can work with a small group of people to get to know you, you get to know your peers, and that's been so fabulous. We choose the online virtual hybrid option, which means that the core curriculum is all video-based lesson. You can go back and then pause the video, you can speed it up, you can slow it down, you can review as needed. Yet you still get the support of connecting with us during classes and teaching labs. You can ask questions, special workshops and orientations. Beyond that, we have a closed community off of Facebook in our training platform. So again, you're getting support and feedback during the experience. And we found it to be just an incredible combination. Because online learning is so valuable, it's one of the reasons why even programs that for a really long time held on to, we teach in person, that's the format, I've noticed more of them going into this hybrid option of in-person and online learning. What they've recognized is we're all busy bees right now, and so sometimes it just makes sense to do an evening learning session rather than more traditional in Pilates. It's like you go to a weekend workshop and you'll have many of these over several months or a year. That doesn't fit in with a lot of people's lifestyle. When you're evaluating the type of format for your Pilates teacher training program, remember the type of Pilates teacher that you want to be influences this. So if you want to be a comprehensive teacher, that's going to be more towards in-person, or the hybrid option that's in-person and video lessons. However, if you want to be a Pilates mat teacher, that really opens your options in person all the way to the virtual option, which is hybrid with video lessons and then meeting over Zoom or a community or another platform in which it's all done via video. That's the benefit of this digital era. Of course, the teacher training programs that you look into are going to influence what type of formats they have offered, but I think it's just going to be a continued trend that there's going to be more hybrid in the future because it's just so beneficial. Throughout this video, you probably noticed I mentioned different elements of what's included in a teacher training program. Now that sparked your curiosity of what to expect during a Pilates teacher training and what's included. Make sure to check out this next video where we get into all of that.